All right, Rodney, I want you to tell us about your car, dude.
All right, so it's a 70 Camaro, and it was gonna start out as like a small build.
Okay.
But of course, you know how that goes. So started off, got the car, and I was like, let me do some suspension and some wheels and maybe like a motor swap.
Okay.
And of course, gotta do an LS. So
Of course.
I could always show that.
Let's see what you got.
I mean, it's not like super fancy, but it's all right. It's not finished yet, of course. But it's getting there.
Sheesh. So what you got done to this?
So it's a fully built, it's an LQ block. So it's like an LS technically. It's a 6.0 liter and it's fully built, like forwards and rods, pistons, things like that.
Okay.
Head's been all worked over, and got the turbo. So it should make some power. Hopefully we're thinking to the wheels like around 800.
Jeez.
And then I don't know, probably turn it down when I'm cruising though, probably around like 650.
Hell yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
So I see this theme going on here. You got the American muscle,
Yeah,
and you got the JDM wheels. So what's going on with that?
yeah. So some of y'all might know me to have like the 240s and things like that. And I've always loved just everything about the JDM vibes, because I'm an S chassis guy all the way. S chassis. But then I was like, you know what? My roots were American cars, and I was like, let me do something fun and different that you don't usually see. So I'm like, well, how about just blend the two together? Was it USDM and JDM? So I'm like, okay, that'd be tight. But then I'm like, what can I do for wheels? Like, I need something that's gonna pop, but kind of go with the flow of the car.
Yep.
So there's these, what are they, VSKFs? So I went with these because they kind of have that look of like an American racing.
Yeah, like the torque thrust wheels.
Yeah, something like that. But it's all like my JDM homies, when they see it chopping down the street, they'll be like, oh, okay, like this cat's onto something.
Yeah.
He gets down pretty much. So, and like as far as like the JDM touches, stuff like that, I still don't know if I'm gonna do any kind of vinyl on the car.
Okay.
I'll probably do some kind of like banner across the windshield of some sort. Something like that. Maybe do something low on the bottom that runs up with something that I would throw on a 240 basically. But
Okay.
but I don't know. Plan on the car being like a deep purple.
Nice.
But I do want to have a little bit of chrome trim, so I want it to be loud and flashy. But
Yeah,
at the
for
same
sure.
time, clean and chill. Kind of gangster chopping down the road.
And how about, like, are you gonna do anything like to the interior?
Yeah, so right now you can see it's not there, but so I want to do just kind of like a factory style interior.
Okay.
I've always been that way towards like a 240s. I want them on the inside. I want it to look like as stock as possible, basically, with like little touches here and there. So with this, I'm gonna do of course a new fucking you can't cuss, but so I'm gonna do like an aftermarket steering column to clean that up, and then I'm gonna do like a Nardi wheel. I have one of those already, and then some Bride seats.
Awesome.
Now I know Bride puts out this seat called Eurostar or Eurostar 2s, and it's more of like a European luxury seat. So
Nice.
They're comfortable, but they have the look of the bucket seats, but they're fully adjustable. So I'm gonna do that with just factory rear seats, but do let's say the fabric that Bride, I think you can get it from Bride, and do the seats in the Bride material.
Okay.
So that should be pretty tight. And then you got to throw the hydro in the car.
Of course. Do some skids with this thing.
Yeah, so of course I thought it'd be cool to slide, but I'm probably not going to do it on a like where there's a bunch of walls.
Yeah.
Maybe something open.
Yeah,
be
for sure.
cool to kick it around. But really, even if I don't slide the car, it's just part of the look. Something I want. I think it'll look pretty fucking rad.
I think so too.
So, now if we go back to the wheels though, they're 18s front and rear.
Okay.
I went with 18s because to me on the 240s, 18 was like where it was at. I'm like, to me it just made sense. 17 kind of odd, 19, 20 too big. A lot of people do like 20s on these cars. So the car is a pro touring build.
Okay.
And my thoughts are something about no offense, but old heads doing these pro touring builds, they kind of have these vibes, but the wheels, they just don't ever look right, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they don't know what to do. So I went with the 18 because I didn't want a ginormous back wheel, and I wasn't going to do like a 17 in the front. Like, people do big in the rear, small in the front. It's like, let me keep this. But the 12 wides in the rear. So
these things are huge.
12 wide work.
Look at the lips on those things.
Yeah, I think like 7.5-inch lips, something like that.
And what size tire do you have on there?
So this, I think this is a it's a 315.
Nice.
315, 30, 15.
Those things are huge.
I think the fronts are 9s. But you could actually fit a 10 wide up front or 11 wide.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So with the car, since it's pro touring, I was like, man, you got to go all the way with it. So there's this company called Detroit Speed, and they put out subframe kits. So it has, you know, rack and pinion steering, just whole aftermarket subframe with all the parts. It actually has, I think, C5 knuckles on the front, and like a Mustang rack and pinion. You know, the way they do the builds, they're just the way they make everything work together. So that's why I can't even go smaller than a 17 in the front.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So in the rear, I went with a smaller brake, so that way if I wanted something that's going to hook up on the street really good, I could throw like a 15 in the rear with a real fat tire. And a lot of these cars, if you notice the taillights, usually people have a reverse light. But I've always liked the way the red and the red just across the whole panel would look.
Yeah, I think it looks really good too.
And then it's funny, you probably wouldn't think that this car sits on all 4 corners coilovers.
Wow.
So it's got adjustable coils, you know, front and rear. It's got a narrowed 9-inch. It's also, so the whole chassis is Detroit Speed. Yeah, it's a little intense. Definitely, I didn't plan on doing all this.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna keep it basic. So I did all that, right? First thing I did was, I did all the Detroit Speed chassis parts. And I'm like, okay, the car is getting somewhere. We're good. Well, I didn't have the car sandblasted yet, right? So I get the car sandblasted and it comes back. Somebody hacked a roof off of a different year Camaro.
Wow.
So they basically, what they did was, I was showing somebody this the other day. The early second-gen Camaros have a small back window, like it's narrow. Now the late models, like say even like a Trans Am in Smokey and the Bandit, that car has a big back window like this. So the Camaros are the same way because GM, you know, uses the same body basically for the most part. Well, this car had a roof from a 78. So when I looked at the car, it was all media blasted, and I'm like, why do they do a quarter panel patch in 3 sections? I'm like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
So then I was looking at the metal up in here, and it was riveted on. So the roof was not welded on. There was sheet metal riveting the roof to the quarter panel, basically.
Holy crap.
So I literally just ripped it off, and the roof was sitting there, and the roof was from a car that had a big back window. So you spin sheet metal to just try to cut it in the shape that it needed to be.
Holy crap.
Yeah, all the inner metal of the car was all gone. Like up in like this area of the car, this was all gone. I didn't think much of it. So I had already did the floors, you know, like floor patches and stuff like that. And then I was like, damn, I don't know what to do. Like, I gotta roll the dice with this thing. So I sat for about a month, and then I purchased the whole roof assembly.
Wow.
From, you know, this, I think it's called Dynacorn. So we did the roof, the cowl, wheel tubs, which this has many tubs, and then quarter panels, so the roof, whole taillight panel, the inner structure metal behind the taillight panel.
Jeez.
You know, we had to do the trans tunnel for the 6-speed that's in there. And then the next step will be, we still are going to do this after the car might do it when it's in the bodywork stage, but basically going to cut all this out, rebuild this. So I want to try to fit 4 6x9s across the deck.
Sheesh.
But then we got to think about the cage, because the roll bars are supposed to come, I want them to go high with the window and then dip down, you
Okay.
know? So we got to somehow fit the speakers a certain way so everything will tie in, and then, you know, so it's not going to be a full cage. I think it's a 6-point. So it's going to have, like, you know, your main hoop. That's a fucking golf ball just hit the house.
Sheesh.
So that person sucks because you start all the way down there.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. But so anyways, it's gonna have a main hoop with the seatbelt harness bar that goes across, and then like a door bar.
It's gonna be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I thought about doing a full cage, but I don't know. I don't want to take the chance of something happening and maybe bumping my head into it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah.
This thing is awesome, dude.
Next up, so after we finished the turbo stuff, we finally got the turbo in here, which it seemed like it was gonna be horrible. And then once I decided to trim these out, you know, it's not finished product, but trimming those out, it opened up a lot of opportunity. So, you know, it's gonna be a 4-inch downpipe, and then it's gonna come down to 3-inch, and then split into two duals, like, well, yeah, into duals, or like maybe 3-inch going all the way back, somewhere back there. But now, so we're gonna do that, and then get into the water to air intercooler. So we gotta, you know, chop that off, weld an elbow on it. It's gonna kick through here, and then, you know, just have your regular intercooler setup to your intake, which this should be interesting because it's gonna have AC.
Hell yeah.
And then it's a small radiator because it's a water to air setup. So you got like an ice tank in the back. And then I gotta fit it's a smaller but still kind of big water to air intercooler in the front. And you can see the way all this stuff comes together. It's a pain. So, but it's fun.
I think you're on the right track. You're getting everything done, and it's looking awesome. So what made you want to choose a 70 Camaro?
Honestly, I don't know. So I kind of, so a friend of my dad's, I sold him a 73 Nova in the past, and he had spent like 5 to 7 years fixing it up. And I used to take it out all the time, you know, while he still had it. And I was gonna buy it from him, you know, and he was like, well, you know, you can always drive the car whenever you want. So why don't you just build another car, and then that way you can have something to do, and then, you know, you can have multiple cars to drive. Yeah. I was like, okay, that might be kind of dope. And originally I wanted another Nova. And but he showed me this car, and I was like, yeah, it looks pretty solid. Little did I know, yeah, it didn't have any rust because it all been replaced and just not good. But
sheesh.
So he showed me this car, and I was like, yeah, you know, this would be kind of cool. I've never had a Camaro. You know, do something different with it. And yeah, so I think
definitely different.
So I'm either stuck with it, you know, and I love it, or, you know, who knows, maybe end up with a S15 or something. Or end up with an S15. Never had one, but maybe when they're legal, I'd like to pick one up.
Heck yeah.
But for now, I want to see what this thing can do.
Me too. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
I mean, that's you know, for now, that's pretty much it. I mean, you know, I'm sure you'll get to see some more updates here soon.
For sure. So in the near future, is there anything else, like any big changes, or is everything just gonna slowly start building up?
Well, we were trying to make things happen real fast. I think they're about to now. So we're gonna go ahead and, like, as far as the turbo, all that stuff, intercooler piping, you know, making it all one piece. So basically, when the car, because once that's done, the car is leaving here because the body work is getting painted.
Awesome.
You know, and then just throw out the money, you know.
Yeah.
Just gotta start collecting everything for it.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, I've had a lot of help along the way. There's my buddy Jared. He helped me with so much metal work on this car because some of the pieces had to be custom made. And he's just so fast and efficient. He's actually the GM of Stock Modified.
Awesome.
So I mean, that dude is a beast. So if it wasn't for him, I would be screwed. I mean, the amount of labor it would have cost to do the metal work, there's just no way. I can't do that, and I'm not gonna take on metal work like that. That's art.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, my brothers helped me with some of the welding for the turbo stuff, and you know, and I can do some welding, but you know, when it comes to some real pretty TIG welding, my brothers, he's the man for it.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much get this finished up right here. Hopefully soon, within the next like 2 weeks, and then bodywork, paint, gangster purple.
Hell
you know,
yeah.
something that's really gonna pop, and then start. So there's Springfest. My goal is to have this thing from the outside look complete.
Okay.
By Springfest. Pop the hood, intake be on the car. May not be running, but have the intake, all the piping, you know, windows in the car, doors on the car.
Yeah. So just at least to get the whole, you know, vibe of the car.
Yeah. That was the plan. I want it to look like when you see this thing in a parking lot, like, okay, that thing is done.
Hell yeah.
But, you know, it'll be close.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, if you want to do a little walk around, you can.
For sure.
It's up to you. But
this thing is gonna be awesome.
there she is. Yeah, I can't wait to see how this thing handles.
Me too. This thing is so low.
Yeah, it actually gets stuck with the jack under the frame. So,
Sheesh.
it's like having a 240, you gotta put it up on some blocks to get a low pro jack under it.
This thing is awesome.